Community. This is Dr. Paul Goodman, Dr. Nacho, and I have a question for you. Would you like to save money in your practice for doing nothing? And I truly mean nothing. As a practice owner myself, I definitely would, and we have an awesome new product that we want to share with you, awesome new service. We have an interview with one of the heads of this company, and you're going to see it right now. I'm going to jump back on at the end, watch, listen, learn, and at the end we're going to have a special offer just for you.
Today, most every purchase is done with credit cards. We're using them extensively. They make things so much easier for us as consumers. However, as a business, there's also the charge. Now, we know the charges are something, it's cost of doing business, but often they tend to keep creeping up higher and higher. Well, it'd be nice if there was a way that you could save money on that. And you know what? Now there is. At Dental Nachos, we discovered a company that is now helping people to analyze what's going on with the myriad of tools that are out there, sometimes a little more complicated than we mere mortals can handle. And this company called Merchant Advocate is watching over their customers to make sure they save the money, and they got some really good news. Well, to find out about that, we've got Pete Ustick with us right now. He's a senior account executive there, and he joins us from up there in New Jersey. Pete, good to have you with us today.
Good morning, Terry. How are you?
I'm doing just fine. I've been studying what you're doing there at Merchant Advocate. I really like this because, correct me if I'm wrong, you come in and you look at what a business is doing. For instance, a dentist might be doing some processing, and of course, a lot of that is done with credit cards. And you're able to look at it with a bazillion, I think that's the exact number, a bazillion things that are going in there that affect the score and the cost, and be able to say, hey, we could save you some money here and stuff like that. Tell us a little bit about Merchant Advocate and what you do.
Absolutely. So, as you mentioned, Paul, Terry, every merchant, or almost every merchant out there, in order to stay competitive, really needs to accept credit cards for payment. This includes dental practices for various fees, co-pays, and whatnot. And there's a certain pain associated with that, having to accept those cards. Obviously, there's a cost associated with it. You get this statement every month that's written in a foreign language, and it's just hard to tell, and your costs seem to be always going up. What Merchant Advocate does is we run a forensic analysis of your existing processing program to locate savings, so you can save money without having to switch your processor.
See, that's the thing I like about what I hear. There's so much out there. It's kind of like trying to understand the tax law. Come on, even all CPAs don't understand everything about all the tax law and the legal teams and all that. But the thing to do today is you get a professional who specializes in that. And I understand one of the best parts of this is the way that you get paid. You're a business, you get paid, but you get paid not from a fee that you charge your customers. How do you get your revenue?
So we're solely compensated on the savings that we achieve for our clients. So, typically on the street, we take about 50% of the savings, but, the good news for the Dental Nachos community is that, we've put the savings share in the advantage of the practice where they get to keep the majority of the savings, 60%, while Merchant Advocate gets 40% for these savings that we generate.
So that way we know that you've got a vested interest in making sure that there is savings.
Absolutely. It's purely success driven.
Yeah, it sounds like it'd be something very good. Well, tell me a little bit about what you're analyzing when you go in there and you're looking at. We don't want to get too deep in the weeds,
Sure.
So that we'll understand the picture of, well, it's just a matter of this percent versus that percent. There's a lot more to it than that.
There is. And a lot of times when we have that initial discussion with business owners, it's a lot about, I have great rates, and you may have great rates, but unfortunately there's a lot behind those rates that impact your overall cost. Visa, MasterCard alone, there are hundreds of different billing categories. There are different interchange categories that are attached to the types of credit cards your customers are using. So we go in and make sure that number one, you are paying good rates, but we're also exposing and eliminating any hidden fees. And we also fix coding errors that might be impacting your costs. It's a rather complex setup, beneath that initial statement that you get with, you might have one rate on there, but trust us, when there's, hundreds of different items that are impacting your costs, and also the different companies that might sit along that pipeline between you and that end processor. Each one of them needs to get paid, and we analyze, number one, if they even need to be there, and number two, are they getting a little too much than they should.
Yeah, I like that. The way that you're doing, I think, is a great model for many different businesses, that you're only going to get paid if you're saving the business money. If you're saving that dentist money, then you get paid, they get paid, everybody's happy, and it's money that they would not have received otherwise. So it's like,
That's it.
that just makes all the sense in the world to say, well, I can try and do it on my own. Really? You're going to try and figure out the tax law or whatever it is, all the processing and all the rates that are changing constantly, because you might have it now, but hey, what about this afternoon when they change some
Well, to that point, we do see the processors raise rates about 2 to 4 times a year. So, as part of our program, we monitor your statements on a monthly basis throughout our term. And nothing feels better than, having a client, getting them in a good place cost-wise, and then 6 months later, catching their processor with their hand in the proverbial cookie jar and saying, well, you can't do that. And then we get to go back to the client and say, hey, listen, just so you know, processor XYZ was, they were trying to raise your fees, but we caught them. We made sure everything stayed in place. And that's where you really get to see the value of our overall program.
Yeah, well, Pete, you're offering a wonderful service there. You and the whole team there at Merchant Advocate, we appreciate that. If a dentist is watching this right now, thinking, it sounds okay, I'm curious, I don't know, they're kind of on the fence, what would you leave them with before we close this out?
Well, so we run a complete complementary. So that that forensic analysis that I mentioned is complementary. So what we do is take a look at 2 or 3 of your recent processing statements to get a good idea of your overall volumes and overall pricing, in its current state. And we do a forensic analysis of that. We have expert analysts that sit in our home office. And quite frankly, to me, they are the unsung heroes of Merchant Advocate. And they go in and they nitpick apart and they look at every item in that statement. They look at the math behind the statement. And we come back within a few business days and we could tell you if you qualify for a program, and the qualifying amount is about $1,200 a year in gross savings. And you can choose to engage if we do find that qualifying amount. And of course you don't have to. We're relationship based. We're not a pressure sale. If you choose to move ahead, great. We know you're going to save money. We know you're going to help your business. If not, then that's a decision you make, and we would just ask, hey, let us take a look in 6 months. We can tell you maybe if there's even a greater share of savings available for you.
Yeah, I like the way you're doing that. You can look at someone's business, see how their practice is going now, what a dentist is doing. And if they don't qualify right now, that's okay. It might be not yet. And so this way you're there to help them as professionals. You're able to assist and to guide them through it. And
if they don't qualify, then they have free third-party validation of their costs in terms of their credit card processing.
Yeah, which sounds like a good win all the way around. Well, Pete, we appreciate your time today. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Terry. Appreciate it.
That was such awesome information. As you can see, it is easy to save money year after year using Merchant Advocate on something as simple as your credit card processing fees. We are super lucky at Del Nachos to have partnered with Merchant Advocate as one of our affiliates. As you can see here, you or your office manager can sign up, get a free analysis, determine how you can start saving money year after year so you have extra money in your office for things like nachos.